Okay, I want to address a important topic by looking at the book of Judges and drawing parallels to what is happening, why I believe that ISIS can invade this country, or why enemies can come against this country. We'll start in Judges 2, and we'll start, I guess, in verse 11. Then the sons of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and served the Baals, and they forsook the Lord, the God of their fathers, who had brought them out of the land of Egypt, and followed other gods from among the gods of the peoples who were around them, and bowed themselves down to them, which is part of what worship is, but they bowed down to these things. Thus they provoked the Lord to anger. So they forsook the Lord and served Baal and Ashtaroth. The anger of the Lord burned against Israel, and he gave them into the hands of plunderers, who plundered them, and he sold them into the hands of their enemies around them, so that they could no longer stand before their enemies. Wherever they went, the hand of the Lord was against them for evil, as the Lord had spoken, and as the Lord had sworn to them, so that they were severely distressed. Verse 16. Then the Lord raised up judges who delivered them from the hands of those who plundered them. Yet they did not listen to their judges, for they played the harlot after other gods and bowed themselves down to them. They turned aside quickly from the way in which their fathers had walked, in obeying the commandments of God, of the Lord. They did not do as their fathers. When the Lord raised up judges for them, the Lord was with the judge and delivered them from the hand of their enemies all the days of the judge. For the Lord was moved to pity by their groans because of those who oppressed and afflicted them. But it came about when the judge died, that they would turn back and act more corruptly than their fathers, and in following other gods to serve them and bow down to them, they did not abandon their practices or their stubborn ways. So the anger of the Lord burned against Israel, and he said, because this nation has transgressed my covenant, which I commanded their fathers, and has not listened to my voice, I also will no longer drive out before them any of the nations which Joshua left when he died, in order to test Israel by them. So through that we realize when they disobeyed and they did things right in their own eyes, they lost. They were invaded, they were plundered, they were sold to other nations, they became slaves to other nations. Not any and he lists the nations in chapter 3. And then in verse 7, and gave their own daughters to their sons, and served their gods. The sons of Israel did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, and forgot the Lord their God, and served the Baals and the Ashtaroth. Then the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, so he sold them into the hands of Cushan and whatever, king of Mesopotamia. The sons of Israel served Cushan 8 years. When the sons of Israel cried out to the Lord raised up a deliverer from the sons of Israel to deliver them. Othniel, the son of King Caleb's younger brother. The Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he judged Israel. When he went out to war, the Lord gave this king into their hand, the king of Mesopotamia into their hands, basically. And that they prevailed over this king and these people. Then the land had rest 40 years. And then verse 12. Now the sons of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord. So the Lord strengthened Elon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of the Lord. And he gathered to himself sons of Ammon and Amalek, and he went and defeated Israel. And they possessed the city of the palm trees. And the sons of Israel served Elon, the king of Moab, 18 years. But when the sons of Israel cried out to the Lord, he raised up a deliverer for them, Ehud, the son of Gera the Benjamite, and left-handed man, and it talks about the guy and how they were defeated, and basically gave the Moabites into their hands because they cried out, and he delivered them. Notice, this is a judge, and we fear judgment, right? Why? Judgment delivers you from the evil people, and yet Christians are so afraid of judgment. Why? We know that there's evil in this world, and why are we so afraid of judgment? Because judgment is the time where the tares are removed from among the wheat, and the suns shine forth. The people of Yah shine forth like the sun, because we are in the presence of the consuming fire. And you can read about Deborah, you can read about Gideon. I mean, you read in chapter 4, starts out, then the sons of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord after Ehud died, and the Lord sold them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan. Do we not get the pattern? And that happened with each of the judges. Gideon in Judges 6 through 8:32. Deborah, you had in 4 through 5:31. Amalek, you can read. Here's a chart of all the different judges, but this is the same over and over and over and over again. They cried out, he delivered them, they cried out, he delivered them, they turned from him, then they went back into evil. Here's chapter 6. Then the sons of Israel did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord gave them into the hands of Midian 7 years. The power of Midian prevailed against Israel because of Midian. The sons of Israel made for themselves the dens which were in the mountain, blah, blah, blah. You know, how many times do we have to hear this story? Over and over and over. Then Gideon was raised up after the people cried out. And it says in verse 10 of chapter 6, "And I said to you, I am the Lord your God. You shall not fear the gods of the Amorites in whose land you live, but you have not obeyed me." Hello, earth to Israel, earth to Israel. They didn't obey. They turned away. How many times do we have to read this? And you read this throughout Judges, over and over and over again. And you read this where throughout the book of Judges where they turned away from God. Chapter 13, verse 1. "Now the sons of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord, so that the Lord gave them into the hands of the Philistines for 40 years. Earth to Israel. When you disobey God, you're gonna suffer. I mean, we could go on and on and on throughout Judges, but I think I've made the point that if you wonder why this nation is falling to the left, to the progressives, it's because we as believers, we as grafted in Israel or regrafted Israel, have disobeyed God. And we have turned toward other gods with Christmas and Easter and Sunday and saying abortion is okay and homosexuality is okay and blah, all this stuff. Do we really have to wonder why this nation is in peril? And people love to use 2 Chronicles 7:14 over and over and over again to say, well, if my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray, then I will hear from heaven and I will hear from heaven and heal their land. If we will turn from our wicked ways. If we do not do that, we are doomed to fall to someone else. Whether it be ISIS, whether it be Russia, whoever it be. And you can go back and read Deuteronomy about the curses in 28 or 29, Deuteronomy 28 or 29 about the curses. And you will see, if you obey me, you will have blessing. If you disobey, your enemies will overcome you. Plain and simple. You could go read Kings, same thing. Let's get this message. Get right, church, and let's go home, as the song says. Let's do those things. Let's get right. Let's obey Torah. From the heart, let's love our neighbor and keep the Sabbath and holy days. And then that's the purpose. We are to live to worship. Hopefully this has been eye-opening and give you a clue as to why we're in the situation we are. Shalom, shalom. May Yahveh bless and keep you and make his face shine upon you and give you peace. And be gracious unto you. May you read his word. It will change your life. Read and obey. Hear and obey. Hear, O Israel. And we know who our God is. Shalom, shalom.